Hello, this is Michael from Blue Gem Tarot. Today's episode, pick a card reading, is going to be called What Are People Saying About You? This reading will also contain subdivisions, and I think I'm gonna be using the list for this. And yeah, this is going to be a three-pile pick a card reading as usual with three crystals. Pile number one with clear quartz, pile number two with amethyst, and pile number three with blue glass diamond. Take your time, pick your pile. Don't come at me if it doesn't resonate or if you don't agree with the information. That's completely okay. Maybe this is not your reading or this is not your pile. More or less, I think you should be guided by the aspect that I will be touching on, and it will be about identification slash validation. You have to resonate with that bit. If you don't, maybe this is not for you. Though I can say with confidence that many of my readings do have elements that are particularly resonant, and you'll find that there has to be something in the reading that either pertains to your situation or you have to hear about, know, and potentially use in your real life. I really do aim for my readings to be pragmatic and not wishy-washy. I like specific readings, and I hope to guide my readings in that direction as well. Thank you so much for the support that you show to me consistently to the channel. And by the way, if you want to skip, you have the timestamps in the comment section and the description section. Just wanted to say that I'm really happy to read the comments. Not all of them, of course, yeah. I know not everything's good as it should be, but hopefully I don't care as much, so I really do care only for the positive ones. So yeah, that's amazing. Um, Still, the decision, the situation with the personal requests is pending. I always pray to God that I will expand on that, but yeah, I'm super busy, and yeah, hope you understand. Um, I do like the suggestions though, they're really good. Not all of them fit the general um, reading type of scenario, but yeah, I do want to give credit. They're really good, and but they would be better used in personal readings. So don't come at me if I didn't do a reading on your topic, on your suggested topic. Generally, I aim for giving you the answers in the general format. Maybe you can find there some, like, I always stumble across personal messages and like romantic interests in the readings, and I find it to be quite fascinating and funny because you can never evade this, and we're people, so yeah, we're not um, cut from the social aspect, so yeah. Anyways, let's start with pile number one. Okay, pile number one. I want to say that this perhaps was a little intimidating at first, energy wise, but I actually like, because it does contain some sort of immunity that I will actually cover as a topic in your reading. It's about you anyway, so it's going to be all right. First of all, there is a very strong invincible energy, very um that's what that's exactly what I was saying. Like, it's very observant, it's very intimidating to me a bit. Simply because we have the watching tower. I'm not sure which one is the case, but this is very also similar to like lighthouse thing, though very different in usage and purpose, but whatever. I wanted to say that you have very strong honorable energy, very no BS, very serious energy. In the context of what is being said about you, there is a strong sense of respect, some sort of diligent way or desire to show up for you. Like you are not wishy-washy, but you also feel like you went through a lot of things. And I feel like you do come off as unbreakable too. Uh, how you're going to see if this resonates, you are most likely a person who has experienced a lot of things and you have managed to somehow get out of them unscathed. Also, what's coming through is that you are profoundly resilient. I also link the information to the actual crystal in the reading. So, what came through was the fact that you are, very observant, sifting everything through. With Hermit in here, it's like people say that you are very knowledgeable, very, a hermit in this case, with this representation, shows a person who might be thought of as, let's just say, a bit strange, but it's a very good type of strange. It's like a person who's not willing to compromise their like either research or the work that they do. It's like it's a very solid reputation that you do have in here. Even if with Hermit it could be not necessarily lonely, but like directly, or it could talk about a level of isolation or isolation while being around a lot of people or being on their mind. That's how the energy of this hermit comes through. And I feel like you're being talked in a way that's very like almost like scary for some people. I don't know why. It's as if they cannot figure you out. It's like not because there is missing information. Like I don't like saying general stuff like that, but because there are general assumptions about you and they fail or they burn out or they cannot, they think one thing but then you prove them otherwise because of some sort of detail on or information that came through and that completely somehow threw them off guard. You might resonate with this if you are, like as I said, a bit of a more personalized slash profiled person when it comes to socializing activity. Like you could be very opinionated, you could be very like craft wise, very specific. You could have like you could live a life that's very much linked to your to a personality that's very defined or very strong. However, that is being perceived from the exterior as being like, for some it can come off as like very respectable but also peculiar. And I also see in here that there is intrigue, but there is like fear of approaching you, something like this. You could resonate with that, and you could be very much so used to that kind of energy. And also like very, I feel like you are coming through as unbeatable and unbreakable. Um, I can see that from the looking at the bigger perspective in reverse, and also you are very close to achieving your goals in reverse. There is like also almost like very iron-like will or style of being, something like this. Um, in for the result, in for the quality, for the experience, not looking at the end goal necessarily, but also like bashing through obstacles. And this could also reveal a great deal about what people say about you. You seem to be fragmentally placed in people's minds or in their perception, and there is this void that's coming through or silence when it comes to like talking about you. There is this feeling of not wanting to mess with you too. I was picking that up from the very beginning, but I forgot to mention it. And genuinely, hear me out, people do say that with Hunter in here, it's like a lot of importance. Like you must carry yourself with a great deal of importance, and that seems to be something that's coming through. Um, you're like, I would say there is like some sort of depth that's mixed with almost like dark, or grave, like it's magnetism, gravity, something like this, but it's not necessarily like negative in the sense that it would push people away. I would also say that it's particularly the opposite. I feel like you have a lot of people, or you would resonate with the idea of people having to really jump hoops to access you, and you could be keeping them at bay. I'm not gonna lie, this is something that is very particularly coming through. Now, because this is a general reading, you might have this on a spectrum, and this could be a varying thing, but it's like a fact of sorts that's coming through in the reading. And you could be very mature, you could be very regardless of the age, you could be perceived as being very deep, very knowledgeable, very experienced, even if the experience for some of you could be so deep that people cannot like tie it together. They don't understand how you make it happen. Like for them, it doesn't quite make a lot of sense, because it seems like you know things that are not like, this is not normal. I keep like I keep hearing, like not hearing, but it keeps resurfacing, like the things that you do know are not normal, but they're really good. Like there could be something about mastery, it could be something about some sort of skill, craft, whatever. But generally, when you enter into the room, you're being noticed quite a lot. Like you cannot be avoided. That's definitely something that's coming through, and your arrival like is being associated with a lot of seriousness and a lot of importance also. So I would say that you potentially have the biggest controversy with the people that you have. Like they are literally, you can have fans, but they are very like confused. I would say either confused, or they could potentially see you as being avoidant, or not wanting to communicate to them, or not wanting to talk to them. That being apparent from also the Ace of Swords in reverse, or as I saw it, and Five of Swords, which shows in here person who's running. And I don't feel like you're running, okay? But it could be about a situation where you're literally just saying something and people instantly get a sense of where they stand or where they are at in relationship to you. And there is this feeling of, I should only get a hint, or I should only get a sign from them that they want to communicate. And if not, then I'm out, because it's literally not my, like, this is very, it's very hard for people to connect in a way. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if this is deliberate. I feel like it is in a way from your side, but also I do feel like you cannot connect to absolutely everyone, because that's not what you're like in here for. Um, Something about you is being talked about as being very masterful, proficient, almost impeccable, or perfect. And the muse is like, you can trigger people and they could be very almost like grateful for this in a way. In a sense, it's as if you are like this person who's bringing things up for them, and they are feeling like, they got new levels of awareness or something, or they feel like, maybe this was not the most inspiring slash best experience ever, but it definitely helped me understand a lot of things, a lot of, um, they feel like they understand where they stand, in life, in relationship to you, or they feel like they got something new out of the interaction with you. And this could be coming through as very inspiring. Now, from the I wanted to make some subdivisions on good and bad. There are people in here, a lot of people, by the way, who want to connect, but they feel like there is no shared ground, or there is a difficulty in here that poses itself in the way of the connection, or in the way of establishing a connection with you. There is generally something along the lines of situations and circumstances just not playing in the favor of establishing a sort of bridge between the two of you. So people can talk a lot about the fact that you are very inaccessible and not very communicative. It doesn't have to be, because I would say, or I would feel in this case, that you can have a lot of people interested, and you could also be very open about like communicating with them, but I feel like the demand from their side is very big. And I feel like for you it's not that, like, you're not looking for that necessarily, or you're not interested in that um that kind of depth, or all the people to come in, or, like, rushing in, like that's not what I see. I feel like you're too busy on something very like personal, or your direction in life, something like this. From the positives, I want to say there is a lot of praise. There is generally just a very solid reputation for pile number one, in this case a very serious, um honorable, as I said in the very beginning, like no very responsible, no BS type of energy, and it's coming through as very, like, I could literally just talk about this all day, but it's like people do want to trust you. This is the type of relationship situation person that when they come in contact with you, people generally want to know you better. Um, they want to know the details. You could be a very private person, and people could be very inquisitive and very interested in finding out details about you, all the small little details. Like, the more details the better, like that's how it feels. You could be not necessarily interested in that, and you could be brushing a lot of people off in various like indirect ways and stuff like that. And what's funny, and actually I don't know, maybe this is not funny necessarily, but I would say that you're actually doing all of this for the people. It's a bit ironic. Yeah, like that's the best word for it. People can be like almost like confused or in the dark about your intentions, and I do feel like the intentions, like when it comes to you, your intentions are actually very good, or they are eventually oriented towards the people. So that's kind of weird. It's like, this is a classical story where a person has, like, both people have feelings, but for some reason the one who's chasing and the one who's avoiding, it's like they both feel like separated, or like they're misunderstood. um so there is some sort of story that could potentially be about, like, the more you love, the more you could avoid, or the more emotionally devoid you could be. And that could be something that's linked to the story that you have with people. um you have some people for some reason afraid talking about you, even feeling afraid that you would find out they are talking about you. Um, from the perspective of the plot twist, because I adore this section, um, you perhaps don't understand how much you are actually loved, and I want to explain this one because I don't like general messages. You think that you have to perhaps chase a mission or do something that's linked to that mission that allows you to be alone and facilitates that mission by implementing or by having this aspect as true, like alone or on my own, or have to figure this out. Where in reality, it's the fulfillment of that like lies in the connection. And when I say that you have people in here interested, and I want to say it's like that which you seek, linked to your relationship preference, can be very, very powerfully, and it's very like possible to achieve your mission and that connection, them having them linked is something that genuinely can make you feel really fulfilled. I don't feel like you have to create a barrier. And also, like, you have some people really like so eager to jump in. Like, I know, I'm not sure you understand, but like you have some like people who adore you. Like, that's how interesting this is coming through, and almost like ready to jump, to pounce. Like, that's how it feels. But it's like there is like, I see you as a solitary castle in a stormy like weather, and like only the bolts of lightning like, illuminate these structures. And like people could have this very like haunted perception, almost as if I would say some people are actually daydreaming or fantasizing about the ways in which they can, let's just say, outmaneuver the genius like that and really connect to you. But there is like this marginal sense of adoration slash obsession that's being linked, and also like in the sense that everything that's being like said, it's almost like boosting or being maybe boosted, or is surging through to connect the dots and to further allow them to understand and to maybe pursue you. Like, that's how it is. So complicated. Yeah, I hate it. I don't know, like, this is so convoluted. But I want to say it's as if you have people in here wanting to pursue you. But because of this complexity of the structure I was just talking about, it feels like it's a whole quest to rescue the princess in like a tall tower. And you could be like outrageous right now, like, I'm not wanting that. I didn't say anything, okay? Not yet. I didn't say you're like the damsel in distress, but let's just be honest, you want that connection, okay? You should see my face right now. I'm not sure you don't want connection, and I don't feel like we need to really pretend to be a castle in the night and all that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Like, that's my message. Do whatever you want. But wanted to say that it's extremely fascinating and captivating to watch the people's thoughts in relationship to you, because they deem you as a legend, as a secret, as a mystery, as like a riddle. And you're being also seen as a prize, but not in a bad way. I want to say, like with this harvest card in here, winning you over is never like the end goal, and you feel unbeatable anyways, or you feel like you cannot be you cannot be like, you feel like such a mystery that unraveling one mystery is like, they think they got it, but they only ended up having more questions. So that's the story of how pile number one like lives. I don't know. And you could be very different also, like your like comfy home self could be different from the one you display at work. You can have a very defined structure when it comes to human interaction. But at home, or for some like inner circle of people you trust, you could be very like, you can still represent the aspects I was talking about, but you could be very like, comfy and wearing like a I would see you wearing like a swimsuit or like an apron, like this, like very like home stuff, very like people would be like, what is that person, like that's impossible, like they would do anything to like have some sort of picture of you like in an apron, like something like this, because they cannot imagine you in like a let's just say, is it informal setup, something like this. So yeah, maybe this resonates. I hope it does, because that's it. Thank you so much for watching. That was like a ride, as usual. I started to remember the endings for the other piles I did like 1 year ago or less. Feels very similar for some reason. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was entertaining. For me, it definitely was. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to check out the other videos on the channel. Donate to me everything. Just kidding. Don't. If you don't want, I don't know. Don't do it. Once again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you, hear you in the future readings. I can see you actually from the comment icons. So yeah, I can actually see you also. Yeah, so take care. Hello, pile number 2. This is genuinely a very curious mix because it also came through as an image. This feels like a very almost like defended. You know how there are some fortresses with multiple layers of walls? This is the image that came through, and this could be something that people discuss. We have the central card of the Black Cat. There is definitely importance in here, similarly to another pile. Importance and a sense of like a grave presence, almost like very ominous. I'm not sure if I understand exactly what this means, but this is like, it feels like you are fated, or people talk about you in ways that feel like you are a person who was brought here with a higher significance, or in general with you do carry that significance in here that's being shown. It feels to me like with the Black Cat in here, there is either protection, or people do talk about you in ways that you could be, maybe there are some hints that you could be into spirituality, or maybe that you have this aura of mystery and people cannot figure you out. But to me, quite honestly, with this Tower card, it feels like you are, and this is going to be a very multifaceted message, and it's not like what it seems, but I see a person who might come off as a little bit intimidating, very similar to another pile, but the truth of the matter in here is that you are actually very gentle and very kind, and also some sort of a fragile, but this is not a fragile weak, it's like you require a very refined, very um, deliberate and very special treatment. And because of that rarity of how you'd like to be approached, and like it makes you really stand out, it really makes you like not susceptible to all types of relationships. Like you feel like you are, that meme with the soulmates, like you're not just a puzzle piece, a simple puzzle piece of sorts, you're very complex. And like you almost like wish, or you think to yourself like, is there really a person for me out there? Just because you struggle, or you think that you struggle with finding the person who would intricately fit you. And from the identification message, it's like severely misunderstood, severely misunderstood by the world. And generally people might feel distant, and you don't know it, but people can actually feel like they're a little bit unsure or a bit hesitant to approach you. That's going to be the gist of the energy of identification. I see you as being royally beautiful. I would say that this pile resonates with some very deep hues of color. And also, this could be related to the ways in which you wear things, wardrobe. Um, Maybe also, this could be colors of some sort of aura. Now, I heard that black or like blue hues are not necessarily like, I'm not gonna go there right now, but I wanna say it doesn't have to be from that kind of story, but there is depth in here for sure. And this is going to be the message of what people say. So there is a very strange similarity to pile number one in this case, but it's making me feel like you are almost like hot and cold, or people do discuss you in such ways, or people cannot figure you out in this case. With Black Cat, it's like a mix of people being afraid to be affiliated with you for some reason, um, simply because it makes them feel like the result of that could be a little bit unpredictable. Now, I do not feel like uh, innately have something to, as of like ill intent or something like this, but people do really keep their cards to themselves when it comes to you for some reason. And you know what's strange in here is like the actual behavior that you will get is going to be severely disproportionate to the actual positive intention that you do hold for people. But also, this is pointing out the fact that you can easily sift through like the actual connections and things. I feel like these people watching have some sort of secret knowledge. Looking at this table of numbers, I want to say it's as if you have some sort of ability or sight, or it could be something related to the ways in which you find information, or maybe even being a bit of a psychic, or really understanding the psychology and the social structure really so well that it's actually scary. People feel like they are on the radar. They feel like you're examining them, and it's making me feel like there is like this very unavoidable sense of doom out of the result of them feeling judged by you, or it's as if they feel exposed in their insecurities, and they're not ready to face that. However, also from my identification, there is a lot of there is a strong pull towards you. There is this sacred feeling that's being linked, because I see this church. I see like the flowers in here also from another card. Something about the connection that establishes with you really makes it so that people feel like they enter in a sacred space, or they really feel the pull to that sacred element or energy or imprint, and while also at the same time they feel kind of burned by it. And I want to say people want the benefits of the relationship with you. However, they do not want to be held accountable for the ways in which they will behave. And that's definitely something I see in here with fate. It's as if in reverse, it's like people get hooked on you. They want to have a scenario played, and when it doesn't pan out in the way in which they want to, they kind of want to withhold communication and they withdraw, but that's not working. Like the entanglement in here, there is like I hear infatuation also. The fixation on you, it's really strong. It's like, now that you're in, you have to really almost like prove yourself worthy, or like try to actually have the boldness to look at yourself. You're mirroring people real good in this case, I want to say. It's a very strong mix of sweetness and also intensity, and adding to the mix also innocence and um, yeah, innocence is definitely coming through as like unavoidable. For you, I want to say this is not going to be about what people really talk about. This is like the unspoken things or the things that really um, float about in their mind. So you have a like the imprint and the impressions that people are left with, they feel very unforgettable and for some even a little bit triggering, I want to say. It's as if you can expose the people, and it's really making people feel like they either stumbled into or they got into a relationship that's really the deal breaker or it's actually their downfall. It's really kind of intense, I want to say. There is also magical, there is also fated, as I said. It's as if you are there present at the right moment, in the right moment at the right time, at the right space. So something about you feels a little like it's as if someone had a list with character traits. Some person prayed, or like situations where some sort of spiritual element has been invoked, or some sort of wish making. And it was quite intentional, very deliberate, and it's as if you got to be the person who's going to carry out the intention. And what seems to be quite fascinating for your reading is the fact that people, yeah, while they did wish upon the star, when it happened, it's as if they weren't ready for it. Um, I feel like you genuinely bring the best in people, even if that best bit is going to be coming to terms with the actual truth. And this is genuinely making people like, like turn on their tracks or turn back. Like this is how it feels. They feel like they are retreating and it's a little bit overwhelming, and I want to say it's not even as if we only have the bad examples. It's as if like some people in the interactions with you, they were genuinely scared of love. So it's not gonna be the case where I say, you're like hunting for bad people, but while this could also resonate, more likely I believe it's going to be the case where people were simply too afraid to stare into like the eyes of love or something like this. So this is kind of like, I would even say you could be a little bit bitter in here because you feel very pure, you feel like you come through as a very straightforward person. And even in that straightforwardness, not everyone is ready to step up to that kind of energy. And also with this tower in here, it's as if, yeah, they knew that they wanted this, but they were not ready for it. And when I say it, it's like there is a lot. I love to give specific messages. I hate general messages. And I want to say it's as if you can like pinpoint, you can say the things that you want, and you can actually like kind of your energy demands it. So it's accountability, for example, or saying to the person the actual things without like sugarcoating them, or being very, like as I said, direct, straightforward, having very direct moves in a relationship, and also a very direct way of approaching situations, conflicts, expectations without roundabout situations or tactics to bring that um, to fruition. So yeah, it feels to me like people, you could be like literally susceptible to situations where you could meet people and they genuinely consider you to be them seeing you, no, them feeling like I cannot catch that word, them feeling like they are out of your league. Yeah, that's the way to put it. Like, and for you, it could be like a really tiring situation. Judging from this Queen of Pentacles in reverse and the King of Swords upright, you're like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you're in a relationship, maybe this is more about the people you interact with. You could be expecting people to be very honest, direct, and open, and you could be met with completely the opposite. So, yeah. Yeah, we have the tough cycle of. Wait, the end of the tough. Uh, the end of the tough cycle approaches in reverse. So you could be a little bit pessimistic. Um, like very honorable, very similar to another pile I read, but it's fascinating. Like with those cards, it's a little overwhelming to read all of them at once. From the positives in here, like I mean, I don't like structuring the messages in positive and negative really, but for clarity's sake, there is a whole deal of like lack of mirroring in here that will make you also very prone to situations where basically like you are not read correctly and people are not capable of understanding the complexity and the multiple layers to your personality, and that could be something that would like really bug you out. Like this pile is also susceptible to situations where people are like understanding you but not fully. And I'm sorry for screaming. I'm not trying to do that on purpose, but it's like people don't have the capacity to fully comprehend you, and that could be a little bit saddening slash complicating things, because from the validational standpoint, as usual, there is a lot of confusion. There is a lot of like almost as if you even gave up hope of finding a person is going to be fully or wholly accepting and understanding you. However, what's interesting also in here, like, could be about the thoughts or the people talking to themselves in this case. With Patron and the Hound, loyalty, chains, promises, there is a strong link connected to you. So it's as if all that you wish would be met by the other people. Actually, people do have as an expectation, but it's not like an expectation, but a need, actually. Yeah, a need to be understood, seen, and really like accommodated by you. So if you're really like for that, you definitely do have it in your reading. But this is like a little bit of a strangely tiring story. You could have ended up in like a more loner type of situation, even though you could be actually be seen as a very popular person, but it actually can drain you quite a lot. I don't see necessarily that, popularity can play out for every single one of the people who's watching, but I do also consider it to be on a spectrum, so this definitely has to at least somehow resonate on a spectrum. So that means the demand for you in your community could be very high. Your name could be mentioned quite a lot of times. You could be also be seen or regarded as like a go-to person in some sort of way. You could also live in people's memories. That could also be related to some element of popularity. So don't come at me in the comment section. Just kidding, nobody did. But yeah, with patient in here, I want to say it's like whatever reputation you got going for yourself is definitely a very solid and a very consistent and a very like quality oriented one. And it's speaking a lot like it's almost as if there is this situation where your actual reputation is going to be playing in your favor in regards to the consistency, and people want to believe the best about you. People want to know you better and also want to know your good sides. It's like there is a strong inkling about the perception of the people, them wanting to steer it in the direction of you being seen in good ways. So it's as if there is a lot of bets, a lot of like there are a lot of bets placed in your favor, when like stacked in your favor when it comes to the community aspect. And yeah, it's very strong. It's very potent. It's as if this is the situation where the people really got a close understanding of who you are, and because of it, they understood the actual rarity of who you represent, and they therefore it's like a lot of attachment that came through, a lot of desire. Like there is a core desire to believe in you. Like there is no situation where like they want to judge, or like there is a heavy reliance when it comes to your pile. So that sort of thing is definitely something unique in here, and it's like a compliment of sorts, because for people to have that stance on you, you'd have to really um, be somebody who they feel really hopeful about, and that they would want to see you like thrive and stuff like that. So even if you might consider yourself with this black cat, by the way, could be about bad luck as well, I wouldn't say it's true, or I wouldn't actually believe it to be true, because when I saw the cards in here, the exterior could give off that kind of impression, but actually what's happening in the social or in people's thoughts seems to be quite positive. With the crossroads, it's like you're so good, actually, like they know that you're not gonna stick around for a very long time, and even if you might be a little bit ostracized or maybe even isolated at times, or you could be feeling as a person who's like on an island, like that could literally be the perception in here, because two of swords is like, access is not granted. So from the social aspect, you have a lot of support, and for some reason it's also very much so unspoken, and judging from the cards, also kind of some subconscious or unconscious, to the point where the people could be feeling really drawn towards you, but at the same time they could be really, again, very scared of actually being seen, where actually could be the one who's actually craving that, and you'd give anything to have that feeling to yourself. Like literally, I feel like I resonate with this pile so much. But yeah, because looking at these, like these two cards in here, the Hound and the Patron, they are very positive, and mentorship mentorship and finances. Yeah, this is like, people wanting to entrust you with their heart, with their some sort of structure also, I heard, because of the finances element. But yeah, this feels like genuinely like people, also some people want to open up, but they feel like, they would be heavily misunderstood, or not, like they feel like not necessarily not by you, but they feel like they would be not seen in the right way, or maybe they would fail at it and they would really be forced to face like a bad scenario, or the worst case scenario. I feel like you are actually a more forgiving person, and like a very gentle and very reasonable and relatable person also. However, when it comes to projecting, people are really good at projecting the negative things that paint you to be a person who's a little bit unapproachable, or somebody they really have a hard time opening to, even though this could be something of a need that's coming uh, out of the both of you, like the both ends of this situation. Yeah, so that's like, yeah, very strange, but anyway. So anyway, that's kind of it, pile number two. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope it resonated. If it did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also donate if you want. The link is going to be in the comment section and the description section. I hope it resonated. Yeah, I think it's time to say take care. Hello, pile number three. Welcome to your reading. Right off the bat, this is coming through as pile number three being very real. They see you as, or they are talking about you in this case, about the fact that you are not, like, there is no middleman, I would say. No middleman, actually. it's either good or bad, very radicalized slash um, actually polarized situation going on with pile number three. Because of it, your the essence of the reading, what people say, it's going to be quite either good or bad, or very good or very bad. Um, I don't feel like this is like going to be a message where, you know, you're universally liked, or maybe people having like second thoughts or something. I do feel like for pile number three, things are very much so set in stone in a way when it comes to what they talk about. It feels like you are, in a way, coming through as being very opinionated, as well as almost like rash in decision making. Or I also heard that for this pile, a unique, harsh truth is going to be something that they go about, and almost like radicalized truth or clarity can be very relevant to you. It's like it's very similar to to other piles too, but this feels like it's very distinct. There is no gray zone, there is no like let's just say, yeah, middle ground. Actually, I was looking for this one. When it comes to you, it's like I either love you or I hate you. Like that's how the word goes. It's a little bit also, I heard, like exhausting. Like for some reason people feel like they are overwhelmed by your intensity, and for some it's like they actually do enjoy it, but it's coming through as almost like aggressive in a way. It's like passion, dedication. For pile number three, this will feel like a story where when you're going into something, you're like immersed in it. Like you can lose yourself in the whole thing that you're getting involved in, and this should be the story where this is like what's discussed. Uh, Occupation wise, this is like a level with a snake of almost like envy and some sort of disbelief that's coming through as a result of you really going for it, and really excelling at what you consider to be yours, or what you're finding to be passionate about. Um, Meditate and contemplate. So definitely there is like no space for meditation, contemplation when it comes to the experience of pile number three. Very similar in a sense, also with two of wands in here, this representation where people feel like they do not feel like necessarily safe enough to examine or give you a lot of leading questions. Like I feel it's as if you are the type of person that cannot be manipulated into giving information out. As well as with the chariot, like it's not that easy to figure you out, and it's definitely not easy to manipulate you in like a favorable outcome when it comes to them. And if anything, it's making me feel like with ace of cups you are like pretty um let's just say immune to people trying to people please you, or you really see through things in such a way that actually people feel like they're literally polarized. Again, it feels like they're either on one side of the scale or another, and this is making them feel like almost they're playing a role where they could also feel guilty, and where they could also feel like why is this person making me feel bad because I lie? Because that's like, you know, that's a natural part of life, something like this, you know. I don't like this kind of also behavior. That's why I picked pile number three as usual. But lying in here is definitely something that this pile does not like. And more than that, I feel like you are capable of seeing through people's like illusions and stuff. Like with this eight of cups, especially this representation, I feel like you're not buying into the general narrative, and This is telling me that, you like to give things a like some sort of like benefit of the doubt, or you prefer to know like the not necessarily the front end or what's being shown or what the surfacey level stuff. You like to go deep. And with the Eight of Wands also in reverse in here, what came through is like you like to know the actual radical truth, or something that's like, let's just hide it away under wraps and maybe nobody will ever notice. Well, you're definitely the person to actually inquire, think, and get to the bottom of things. And tell you what, this will resonate with you most likely if you're a person who's experiencing a lot of, like, let's just say for you it's actually normal, and I would consider it as well to be normal, but for the general demographic it's like, no, this is not how it works. Society really works in different ways or something like this, and you refusing to go and pick up this narrative, live your life by it. Like, it feels like you're generally the most like unbrainwashed ever, in comparison to the people around you. It's like, people feel like they're walking in their life with a general degree of blindness and deliberate blindness. It makes me feel like they would rather not know, or there are generally a lot of things that they don't want to find out or go into detail about, and you're completely the opposite of that. Um, also, what's coming through with this puppeteer in reverse is like, yeah, actually, I do want to say, for your pile, you are capable of actually manipulating people. I do really hope, though, that you use those when it comes to these types of tactics, like, let's just say, for the greater good. But you really can't say that, because you can make a lot of mistakes with good intentions as well. But with puppeteer in reverse, I just want to say that it makes me feel like, if you are to be brought to like some sort of limit or boundary crossing, you could engage in, like, let's just say, indirect activity, so me, which could make you like a detective of sorts, or would want to make you unravel the truth no matter what. So there is also a great degree of, let's just say, secrecy in a sort of a group that's surrounding you. It's like a deliberate, let's just say, controversy to keep you in the shadows, because it makes them feel like the more you know, the more insecure they are. So, if you feel like people are hiding things deliberately from you, specifically from you, this is maybe because they feel like you keep a record, you remember everything, and you're capable of this grandiose analysis, like comprehensive analysis of what goes where and what causes what. And this is making them really threatened. This makes me feel like some people can read in some sort of way your aura to be like a mastermind, or like a sort of a genius person, like, who's orchestrating and observing and taking in consideration every single little thing. And that's exactly why this is making people feel like they are very insecure. By the way, something that you do excel at, as I was maybe saying in the previous messages, um, you may think to yourself that the things that you do are, let's just say, are as they are. You do them. You're not thinking about them as much. However, when it comes to the other people noticing those things, people feel very threatened, very envious. It's as if you could encounter some, let's just say you're a doctor, okay? You could encounter other doctors and they would be like, this person knows more than I do and I have much more experience in that field. Or some person has a degree and you don't, or you have a degree but they have a higher degree or something like this. And this is like, this is unfair. Like, why do they know so much? And yeah, this is making people feel really threatened. This could be also something that they talk about. There's like a sort of a criticism that's directed at you with the aim of maybe diminishing the actual importance that you do have, and it makes me feel like it's a sort of importance, like it's a shadowy importance, because you don't necessarily know about it. So it's like a shadowy thing that you're not truly aware of, but it's actually going on and it's quite working in your favor, okay? With the witch in here, I want to say there is some sort of discussion, talks in general linked to your persona that makes it so that people feel a little bit like almost like haunted by your presence, or really you unknowingly almost like trigger or make them feel like there is some unpredictable element that's linked to you. And it could be about spirituality, it could be about practices, it could be about meditation, it could literally be about anything, but your aura is not talking talking, it's not emitting that feeling of regularity or general, or regular person. There is no gray zone when it comes to pile number three, and I really love it because yeah, that's just so me. I cannot tell you how much that is. And we have vengeance. I hope this doesn't. Yeah, it did turn. Okay, one moment. There is a sort of a very curious thing that I just spotted, where this is so true when I say that you keep a record, because once people accidentally slip and show their cards, it's like there is no way back. Um, with this vengeance in reverse, it's like when they meet you, it's like, I'm not kidding. This is a situation where they actually understand that they will actually have their cover blown, and this is like it feels imminent, it feels like it's coming real fast, like this person will figure me out, this person will know that I'm doing this, or this person will find out or figure out on their own somehow. And there is this inexplicable desire to conceal themselves away from you, and the sheer like panic when it comes to the fact that they fail to do so. So I'm not surprised, as usual. People feel like for some reason your perception or something gets to you, information gets to you. You know things that you shouldn't. You know things that they would do anything to hide away, stash away, whatever. And some of them, I want to say, they're not very good. I don't feel like you understand how much people hide things deliberately from you, and how much they want to do that further, simply because they find you to be the things that they wanted to be but couldn't, or for some reason didn't have the time or the energy or the resources, or whatever the case may be, which I don't believe is true and is actually an excuse. But it makes me feel like they are afraid that you will further outshine them and they will have nothing to salvage. I don't know. This is so weird, and I hate doing that kind of messages because they are so general and you can literally understand whatever you want. And for this purpose, I just want to say you can encounter people in like some sort of late blooming slash dawn of civilization story with you. And when you enter like their life, they feel like the end is coming and this person is here to take my throne, this person is here to take my spotlight, and literally you literally have your own business to attend to. And I don't feel like this is actually something that you concern yourself about. Yeah, don't do it. Like, not you, like them thinking like you bring up a lot of insecurities in people, and I want to say un- unknowingly so. With prosperity lies ahead, also, there is a whole deal of talk about you as a person, about you as a personality. And with these kind of indicators, this is talking about to me a level of very promising, very high hopes, very successful person. And, yeah, generally, okay, to clarify, for that kind of character, for the complexity of character, for the expectations, for the drive, for the will, for the ways in which you set your objectives. Everything speaks about you in a way that's favorable, in a way that's promising, in a way that's showing some potentially very high results, but it's like disturbingly strange how the polarization in here is off the charts. I don't know how to explain it to you, but you don't buy into the general conspiracy, and that really makes you stand out. And for this particular reason, you kind of tend to accumulate a lot of like hate and people being displeased. I don't know how can it like the logic of this really like really I cannot tell you how enraged I am right now because my like I have a headache right now how enraged I am because this feels like a sort of a behavior that's accommodated and that's wrong, that's dysfunctional in a way, unnatural. And here comes a person who actually knows about this, sees it, and does not live by it. And instead, yeah, I'm not going there, okay? I don't wanna, but this is like so not sad, but just frustrating because people bought into a general behavior norm that's not norm. That's not norm, okay? I'm being triggered. But and you refuse to buy into it, and you end up being like some sort of way like isolated, and not directly but in ways in which you could be potentially gate kept, or information being filtered, or people not opening up. And I feel like, in my case, this would allow me to, let's just say, find information in other ways. But in your case, maybe this is also true. Not me speculating right now, but if anything, I love it that you're not concerned with the drama. You're not concerned with the gossip or with the shallow things. And that's something that will give you like a sort of a quick laser cut through the situations and out into greater levels of authenticity. Oh my god, I'm so proud I wrapped it up like this. Um, there is genuine like feeling sorry and regretting the fact that they cannot work, function, and sustain things otherwise, but also a sort of a defeat. Like it's a robotic defeat. I don't know how else to describe it. Um, and like an immediate withdrawal, okay, from authentic interactions with you. Yeah, that's pathetic. But it's life. It's real. It's in the reading. Okay? Didn't make it up anyway. I love the bit where people try to almost like, and it's not even lying, it's like inviting you, tempting you into the lie, believing, like not even like lying, but making you believe in it. Like that's a whole different level of outrageous, okay, for me. But, and how this fails, this just distasteful, okay. um Anyway, I just wanted to say that you're really like a very bitter pill to swallow, and I feel like, just like me, you can have some sort of truths stashed away. If you brought them up, end of civilization, okay, like that's how it feels, like the end of the tyranny. I'm just kidding, not really, but Just saying, I feel like you see through things and you can call them out in a second and it will not be pleasant. And that's something that you're both loved for and hated, like fiercely loved by some, like very quality individuals, and hated by a lot of people. Because why are you so good at seeing through things? Why everything was so well, so neatly packed things? Like I made it all so that everyone's bowing to my thinking. And here you go. You have information that's not necessarily comfortable for others to know that you do have access to it. That's why I'm curious if you can drop what that is in the comment section. If not, that's completely fine. Some things are better kept a secret. So I completely understand. I'm a Scorpio, so you know I have many secrets. So that's completely normal. Um Hope you enjoyed the reading. That's it. I'm done. I'm gonna vent. Not here. Thanks. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me all your riches. The donation link is going to be in the comment section and the description section. If not, that's okay. Not gonna be mad for long. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care.